You sit down to focus. You mean it this time. 5 minutes in, and your hand is already reaching for your phone. You didn't even decide to. Sound familiar? Here's the good news. You're not broken, and you don't have a bad attention span. You have an untrained one. Focus isn't a personality trait you're born with or without. It's a muscle. And like any muscle, it can be trained to hold far longer than it does right now, even for hours. Most people never train it. They just keep feeding it distraction and wonder why it's weak. So in this video, I'll show you why your focus feels broken and the exact way to train it back, one rep at a time. Stay for move number 3. It feels completely backwards, and it's the one that builds focus the fastest. This might be the most valuable thing you ever train, because focus is getting rarer every year. Almost everyone around you is scattered, half present, pulled in 10 directions at once. So the one person who can sit with one hard thing for an hour has a real superpower, and it's quietly vanishing from the world. If you appreciate this type of content, gently tap that like button. Now let's get to work. First, let's clear something up. Your attention span is not a character flaw. It's a trained habit, and anything you train in, you can train back out. Here's what happened. Your brain runs on novelty. Every new tab, notification, and video gives it a tiny hit of something new. Do that all day, every day, and your brain learns a rule. Never sit still. Always look for the next thing. So the moment a task gets slow or hard, your brain starts hunting for a hit. That itch to check your phone, that's the hunt. And there's a second problem. Every time you switch tasks, part of your attention stays stuck on the last one. Psychologists call this attention residue. So when you bounce between your work and your phone 10 times an hour, you're never fully on either. You feel busy and foggy at the same time. Think about how a normal work hour actually goes. You start a task, a thought pops up, so you check your phone. A message pulls you into a reply. You open one tab to look something up, and 3 tabs later, you've forgotten why. You were working the whole time, but you barely moved the thing that mattered. That's not a time problem. It's a focus problem. That's not you being lazy. That's a mind that's been trained to scatter. The fix isn't more willpower. It's training. So let's talk about how focus actually grows. Think about the gym. You don't walk in on day 1 and lift the heaviest weight in the building. You start where you are and add a little load over time. The muscle adapts. It gets stronger. Focus works the exact same way. Right now, you have a focus threshold, a point where your attention breaks and starts to wander. For a lot of people, that point is shockingly close, maybe 10 minutes, maybe less, but that threshold is not fixed. Every time you push just past it, it moves, a little further each time. So we are not going to try to focus for 3 hours today. That fails every time. We're going to train the muscle instead. Start where it breaks and push the edge, a little at a time. Here's exactly how. Move number 1. Find your real focus threshold. Most people fail at focus because they start way too high. They sit down planning to grind for 2 hours, break after 15 minutes, and feel like a failure. So do the opposite. Be honest about where your focus actually breaks right now. Pick one task. Set a timer and just work until you feel the first strong urge to switch away. Whatever that number is, 8 minutes, 12, 20, that's your starting weight. There is no wrong answer here. A short threshold isn't shameful. It's just your current max, and now you know it. You can't train a muscle if you don't know where it is. So start there, on purpose. One honest baseline beats a fantasy number every time. 10 real minutes you can build on are worth more than 2 imaginary hours you'll never actually hit. Move number 2. Close the exits before you start. Willpower is a terrible way to resist a buzzing phone. In the moment, you will lose, so don't rely on it. Remove the temptation before you sit down, while it's still easy. Put your phone in another room, not face down on the desk, another room. Close every tab that isn't the task. Log out of anything that pulls you. Make the distraction just far enough away that reaching for it takes real effort. Here's why this matters so much. In the moment, your willpower is weak and the urge is strong. But before you start, calm and clear-headed, you can set things up so the urge has nowhere to go. You're not fighting the distraction, you're removing it in advance. And notice how little it takes. Your phone doesn't have to be locked in a safe. It just has to be far enough that grabbing it means standing up and walking to another room. That small bit of distance is usually enough for the urge to fade before your feet even move. Move number 3. This is the one I promised you, the one that feels backwards. When the urge to switch hits, don't obey it. Sit with it, because that urge is the actual rep. Here's what most people don't understand. Every time you feel that itch to check your phone and you check it, you make the itch stronger. You just taught your brain that the itch works. But every time you feel it and don't move, you make it weaker. You just breathe and stay on the task for another 10 seconds. That 10 seconds of discomfort is the rep. It is literally the moment your focus muscle grows. Picture it. You're 20 minutes into real work and it gets hard. Instantly, your hand wants the phone. That is the moment. Not a failure, a rep waiting to happen. So breathe, stay, let the urge rise and let it fall. 10 seconds later, it's gone, and you're still working. You just got a little stronger. So reframe the whole thing. The urge isn't a sign you're failing. It's the exercise showing up. When it comes, you don't have to win forever. You just have to outlast it by 10 seconds. The urge always passes. And every time you let it pass without obeying it, you get a little stronger. Most people quit at this exact moment the training actually starts. Move number 4. One thing at a time. Remember attention residue? The way part of your mind stays stuck on the last thing you touched? Multitasking keeps you in a permanent state of residue. You are never fully anywhere. So single task on purpose. One task, one tab, one window. When you finish, then move to the next. It feels slower. It isn't. A mind that's fully on one thing does deeper, faster, better work than a mind split across 5. And there's a bonus. Every time you choose to stay on one thing instead of flickering to another, that's another rep. You're training focus and killing the switching habit at the same time. The world will tell you multitasking makes you productive. It doesn't. It just makes you feel busy while you quietly get less done. And by the way, if you want to practice these moves, there's a free 5-day brain training sample in the description. It turns these exact reps into one simple page a day. Grab it after the video. Okay, back to it. Move number 5. Add load, then let it recover. Once you know your threshold, the training is simple. Each session aim to go just a little past where you broke last time. If you focused for 12 minutes, aim for 14, then 16. Small, steady jumps. That is progressive overload for your attention, and it's how 10 minutes slowly becomes an hour. But here's the part people skip. A muscle doesn't grow during the workout. It grows during the rest. Focus is the same. After a real block of deep work, your attention is genuinely tired, so give it a break. And I mean a real one, not scrolling. Scrolling is the opposite of rest for your brain. When you scroll on your break, you're not recovering. You're pouring more novelty into the exact system you just tired out. You come back more scattered than where you left. Real rest is boring on purpose. That boredom is what lets your attention reset. Take a walk. Stare out a window. Let your mind go quiet for a few minutes. That quiet is what lets your muscle recover, so the next rep can go a little longer. Now, one honest warning before we start. The first few sessions are going to feel bad. When you stop feeding your brain constant novelty, it complains. You'll feel restless, twitchy, almost itchy to escape. This is exactly where most people decide they just can't focus and give up. But understand what that feeling actually is. It is not proof you can't focus. It's withdrawal. It's your brain missing the cheap hits it's used to. It's the muscle being sore. Usually, it only takes 3 or 4 sessions before the worst of it passes. Push through the first few sessions and something shifts. The restlessness fades. The work starts to pull you in. You look up and realize an hour has passed and you never reached for your phone. That's the muscle getting stronger. It's coming, but only if you don't quit in the sore phase. So let me make this dead simple. Here's your first week. Once a day, sit down for one focus session. On day 1, find your threshold. Work until the first strong urge, and note the number. Every session after that, aim to beat it by just a couple minutes. Phone in another room. One task, one tab. When the urge comes, write it out for 10 seconds instead of obeying it. And when you're done, take a real, screen-free break. That's it. One session a day, pushed a little further each time. You are not trying to have perfect focus this week. You're just doing the reps that build it. Do this for even 1 week and you'll notice it. The sessions get easier to start, and the number on your timer creeps up on its own. So here's the truth. Focus was never something you either have or don't have. It's trainable, a muscle, like everything else about your mind. Find your threshold, close the exits, let the urge be the rep. Stay on one thing. Add a little load, then rest. Do that, and the focus you wish you had slowly becomes the focus you actually have. And here's what most people miss. This compounds. Train focus for a few months, and you won't just work a little better. You start to operate on a different level than anyone around you. Deeper work, in less time, with less stress. From the outside, that gap looks like talent. Really, it was built, one rep at a time. Now, focus is only one of 5 mental muscles you can train, alongside discipline, memory, emotional control, and recovery. I'm putting the whole system together in a complete brain training guide that's coming to this channel soon. So make sure you're subscribed, because that's the one you won't want to miss. I'm Simon, reminding you that your brain is a muscle. So let's train it every day. I'll see you in the next one.